Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by again. Appreciate you stopping to see my channel and watch some of my videos. Today's episode, we're going to go with plan B, which is to use the bandsaw to cut those castle joints at the top of the legs. And once we get those cut, we're going to finish up with tapering the legs on the table saw. So stick around, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you shortly. Well, here we are with plan B. Spent a couple of nights this past week putting this thing together. I was hunting through one of my cabinets for all the parts, and I came across these Total Lock casters that I also bought 9 years ago. And I wanted to put these on the bottom of the bandsaw because I need to be mobile in this shop. I don't have a lot of space and I move everything around. So the casters are on here, and we're ready to start working with the legs again. So today I spent about 2 hours playing around with this, trying to cut the legs with my test pieces, and also tried with my table saw a bit. And I think what I'm going to do, ended up going with, is I ended up cutting this template with the table saw to get nice straight edges on here. And this fits on the aprons pretty good. And so I decided to use the bandsaw. So I'm going to draw this out onto the legs, cut it with the bandsaw. That's my plan for attack right now. Let's hope the rigid orange will bring me a little luck, and we'll get started on this and see how it goes. So I think that turned out pretty good. I've got a wood file or rasp, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to use to smooth out the bottom of this and get it nice and flat. I was going to try my chisels, but it's a pretty narrow gap in there, and I don't want to risk breaking anything in here. So I will get these filed down, get the other 3 legs cut, and we'll see about fitting the aprons next. So I found a YouTube video on how to build a quick tapering jig, and that's what I'm going to give a try today. So I'm going to assemble that one here for you, and then we'll get the taper cut in the legs. So as you can see, that was quick and easy. The screw can come out to increase or decrease the taper. Basically, you're going to run it through the saw as that. Now I left this extra piece back here just to have a handle, a place to put my hand, a little bit safer place to put my hand. The one I saw on YouTube, it was cut off right at the edge there. So I wanted to have just something I can push with here to help push the leg through. So next I'm going to draw the tapers on the legs and we'll get them cut. So here's where I'm at. I marked off my tapers on my leg here, and I tried a couple of pushes through. I wanted to see how it was going to feed through the saw. And what I found as I was pushing it through, and this end was coming away from the board. And that could be really a dangerous situation, so I really didn't like this tapering jig that I made. So what I decided to do was I added a cleat down here at the bottom. I figured I'm going to use these castle joints to my advantage. And what I can do is slide the leg into place, spin the cleat up like that, I'll snug it down, and that will hold that tight against the jig as it's going through the saw. In the future, for tapering, I would probably make a sled with a clamp that will clamp on the leg to hold it in place, and you can find those on YouTube also. But that's what I would make in the future. Today I'm going to go ahead and use this setup. Well, the legs are finished. I put a very slight taper on the insides of the legs. I read online if you have a heavier top that you want less taper so it doesn't look out of proportion. I just have to give them one more sanding, a final sanding, and then I will put some finish on them. Let me show you a chamfer that I put at the bottom of the leg. So at the foot of the leg, I put a very slight chamfer along the edges here. And what that's going to do is if the table is slid on the floor, it'll keep the edge of the wood from tearing out. And from this angle, you can see the chamfer, or the taper actually, and it's very slight. I put very little on there. I just want it to be a subtle accent. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for these legs. God, I hope so. I've been working on them for a really long time, and being quite honest, I'm tired of looking at them. I think they turned out overall pretty good for the first time making a leg like that, and I'm not going to say I enjoyed it, but I learned a lot of lessons. One thing I definitely would do next time if I was going to use that joint would be to make sure and make the aprons the same width that my dado blade can cut. I think it would have been a lot easier to cut those castle or bridle joints, whatever you want to call them. I think it would have been a lot easier to cut those with a dado blade than using the bandsaw and coming back and cleaning them up to make sure they're the right width. Next time I do a table, it'll be mortise and tenon joints. No more castle bridle joints for this guy. Well, thanks for watching this video. I hope it didn't turn out to be too long. I know I've got a lot of tape on it and I've got to get it all edited together and get it posted. But thanks for watching along, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. And been messing around today. Yeah. Let's see how this goes. That sucked.